Welcome to the Philantrepreneur Show, hosted by Dr. Victoria Boyd, designed to offer tips, strategies, and insights to empower nonprofits and entrepreneurs with sustainable win-win solutions. The Philantrepreneur Show is sponsored by the Philantrepreneur Foundation, building capacity through education and professional services.
Well, good morning and welcome. This is Dr. Victoria Boyd, President and founder of the Philantrepreneur Foundation and editor of the Philantrepreneur Journal. And as usual, I am thrilled to bring tips, strategy, and insight for the business and nonprofit sectors. Okay, I'm going to say it because everybody's probably thinking, where did 2015 go? It just flew past. I don't know what happened, but here we are. This is the first show of 2016. Once again, I'm totally excited. We're going into our third year of broadcasting. It's just great. And generally, as businesses and nonprofits in the new year, we look to the future. You know, we assess what some of our critical needs are, what will move us forward. And even though in the nonprofit sector, they named it as a major challenge, generally from what I've observed, most new startups and entrepreneurs suffer from poor or just not enough marketing, which ultimately impacts everything. So understanding this as a critical area for success, the Philantrepreneur Foundation, we spent a lot of time focusing on our training, some of our past blogs and articles. We even had an entire journal dedicated to marketing. And we're going to continue down that path with future training to address this area because it just seems that most startups, nonprofits don't realize the importance of good branding, good marketing, and all of those things that go beyond just the programs and what they're selling, what problem. You can't solve the problem for someone if they don't know about it. So this makes me excited. I come across such great people in my journeys, and talking about the Philantrepreneur. And, social media is one of those things that we need to take seriously because just recently on LinkedIn, and, I'm always talking about how valuable these different platforms are, a great young man reached out to me, and, we became connected. And within days, we had a conversation going, and then we met, and now he's on the show today. And so I'm so excited to have with me a born entrepreneur, and now he's a philantrepreneur. This is C. Christopher Scott, President and CEO of Warrior Design Company. He has a lifetime experience. No, literally. He started when he was like 8, and working in the family business. So, he has a long history, a whole lot longer than me. But we'll let him tell you about that. Welcome, Chris. You don't mind if I call you Chris, do you?
No, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm so happy to have you on the show. Literally, when I sat down with you and your wife, Erica, you could just feel the connection. It was in the air. We were just on the same page on so many different aspects. But give us a glimpse of your background and how you got to be where you are today.
Well, my father started me in business at a very young age. He was one of the first African-American FOR, which means that he ensured that franchises adhered to corporate standards for Pizza Hut Incorporated. So he would travel up and down the East Coast, and at age 6, he would start taking me with him to assess retail locations, the quality of product, quality of service. So I was kind of ingrained in business from a young age, and I was always artistic. So at age 10, I started sketching and drawing, and by age 13, I started designing my first T-shirts for NBA stars and basketball camps, and I was doing it by hand at that time. I wasn't hip to computer because at that time, computers were just kind of a new horizon for everybody. I think I was still working on a Canon word processor.
Okay.
And then so my earliest experience with actually working on a computer was actually laying out documents and programs for churches and nonprofit organizations, and it was black and white. It was clip art, but at age 13, that's how I got it started. So it was a natural progression for me to major in marketing and business administration when I got to University of North Carolina at Greensboro. And from there, I graduated and did extremely well in school, made some great connections, and couldn't get a job. So I was kind of forced into starting my own business. It wasn't intentional. When you grow up with an entrepreneur, sometimes you kind of want to escape. Let me just go work for somebody else and kind of get my feet wet and learn how everything should work. And I actually released a little Christmas CD. I'm a musician, and I needed a website. And I didn't have the money to pay anybody to do it, but someone gave me a software suite. And I started tinkering with it and playing with it, designed my first website. It was absolutely terrible, but it was enough to kind of get me started and get my name on the Internet. And then I redesigned it. Probably 30 days later, just kind of got into YouTube and started studying and reading and researching and learning. And I was doing this day and night, averaging about probably 3 or 4 hours of sleep because I'm just very meticulous about how things look. And I didn't want to look amateur. And so I designed a second website, and I got a call. Someone called me from a company, an entertainment company in the area. At the time, I was in Greensboro, North Carolina. And she needed a website. And I said, you want me to do a website? She said, yeah, I saw your website and I like it. And I said, you saw my website and you liked it? And she gave me an opportunity to design a site. I designed that one. She referred me to another client, a friend of hers, that was working with a local TV station. And I designed a website for her. It was terrible. It was all bad. I designed a logo. She asked me if I could do a logo. I said, sure. And I started doing logos. And then eventually I took a job as a music store manager. And they had me do a website for the store, and it attracted the attention of Sony Entertainment. And the rest is history. From there, we just kind of started taking on other clients and music artists, and different people started calling, and it just kind of flourished from there.
Wow. And because you went to college for marketing, I mean, you had all of that, what I call background information to, even though you didn't necessarily know the technical means of how to build a website, you knew what was good marketing. And so you could take some of that experience and knowledge and apply it through, as they say, on-the-job experience of learning how to build these websites. You know, so it wasn't like you were just going in there blind and just creating what you thought. You had a solid foundation of understanding of what sells or what will be effective, which a lot of people overlook that. You just can't build a website, and we sort of talked about this when we met, that, you know, there's colors, there's just, you know, things that need to be in there to make it just a strong marketing and branding piece. So when did you actually start? Well, I said Warrior when I introduced you, but the name of your company is Warrior Design. And when did that actually start?
2002.
You're getting old there, honey.
I know. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you know, when you go past that 10-year mark, that means you have success. You know, because when entrepreneurs, most entrepreneurs fail within 5 years, and most of generally within 3. But you have now longevity. You're in your 12th year, and so that means you have built not only a reputation, but you have quality. And you know, I'm guessing because companies just don't last if they're not producing quality. So what makes Warrior Design different?
Well, I think you know, you just kind of hit on something. The importance of we pride ourselves in the longevity of our clients. So we've had a vast group of our clientele that has been with us since the beginning, since its inception, and we constantly know how to adapt because technology in our field and ideas and concepts are constantly changing and improving. So we have to consistently stay educated about what's new and making sure that everything is still responsive. And we pride ourselves on being a one-stop branding and marketing solution for our clients. So If they need a logo, if they need a website, if they need flyer design, if they need video editing, they can get all those things at Warrior Design as opposed to segmenting and just focusing on just graphic design. We really try to provide a whole bunch of branding solutions so that our clientele doesn't have to go anywhere else, and we're constantly looking for new services and new products that we can add to ensure that our clientele can stay with Warrior Design.
Yeah, and the value of that, just by having that one stop, that means their brand is consistent. Because I've seen so many, I hate to say it, nonprofits, entrepreneurs, that they do the piecemeal sort of putting together all of their material. And, when you send things to one graphic designer who hasn't heard your whole vision when it was given to another one, and they're going to come back with their interpretation, but that doesn't mean it's consistent across all of your collateral. But by having one company that truly, delves, I call it delving deep into what your focus is, what your intention is with your brand, they can make all of your pieces be consistent, and it really helps because your brand becomes synonymous with who you are, and it becomes recognizable, and anytime you see it on any piece that represents you, you'll say, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so, like the Philantrepreneur.
Yes.
And
indeed.
Another thing another thing you said, that you're continuously learning. I believe in the TQM model, the total quality management, where of continuous improvement. And I always talk about the culture of learning. Me being a former teacher, I'm always, you got to keep learning. And as you said, technology changes every day. Just the strategies and what people are looking for. And I'm so glad that you try to stay abreast of what's happening with the trends and what is effective in the marketplace. That's great. So saying that, it means you are keeping up with the trends. So what's coming in 2016? What are you adding services? What can we look forward to from Warrior Design Company?
Well, we're going to venture more into a lot of the marketing services, specifically digital marketing as it pertains to social media. We're understanding that social media is uncomfortable for a lot of entrepreneurs to get involved with and to manage, and we're good, and we have been doing it and testing it, running social media accounts, setting them up, branding them to make sure that they're consistent, making sure that handles are consistent, to make sure that the content stays refreshed. So we're going to venture more into a lot of digital marketing, the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter. We're managing those accounts now for our clients based on what their needs, based on what their markets are. We develop a plan for them, and we create an environment for them to be successful online.
Great, because in fact, in the journal that's coming out in I want to say a couple of days. I sure hope it is. But we have I put in an article in there about the 2016 digital trends and what companies should be looking for. The mobile apps they're really pushing them. That in one article they tried to say the website is obsolete. Oh, not really.
No.
But mobile apps. I mean, websites will always be there because that's where we find people. But mobile apps are really growing. It's just that they're so expensive. I investigated one, and we as a nonprofit, we just couldn't afford the monthly fee to have the platform that they were offering. And I loved everything they do because it had crowdfunding and event services, but we just couldn't afford, at the stage that we're at. So maybe one day we'll be able to do that. But I'm glad to hear that you're going into social media because that has really been, for us as an organization, I'll say it's been a blessing and a curse. In promoting our conference, I know we were able to really reach a global audience. We had people come from all over the world to our conference, but the time, it takes to dedicate that. So it's great that, the listeners know that here's a company that can sort of take that over and be, assured that their brand will stay consistent. That's great. Okay, so we've talked about your company and what you're doing, and this show, we want to make sure that our listeners walk away with something. And we've been talking about branding and marketing, and I don't think people really understand the difference between branding, what it means to create a brand, and then you market it.
Right.
Because it is a two-step process. So just
right.
Tell us the whole scope of branding and marketing.
Well, I think, unfortunately, it's important to understand that branding and marketing is an important piece of the puzzle. It's not the whole, but it certainly is your introduction. It's your handshake to your potential customer. It's the first impression that they'll get of you, they'll get of your brand, they'll get of your product. The moment someone sees your logo, they see your brochure, they see your website, they immediately formulate an opinion of what your product or what your service is quality-wise. So it's important that you do invest. Before you release anything, invest into the perception that you're going to create with your brand. Your logo, anything that you put out in print, be it a postcard, be it a business card, it should match color-wise. The colors should match, or they should relate to what you're wanting to accomplish with your brand. Colors have meaning. So there's a whole segment of research as you study marketing just on colors alone. It's not by happenstance that most restaurants, fast food restaurants, have red in their cup, because it tends to bring the appetite to the surface. It tends to cause the salivary glands to start. There are a lot of different things that colors do that we just don't take the time to research. And you can have a great concept, but if it's not presented the right way, via your logo, via your website, via your print materials, you're going to lose customers before you even have an opportunity to have an audience with them. So that's the importance of your branding. Your branding is your look. It is your perception that you create to the outside world. It is your handshake. It is the first experience that people have with your company. So it's important that you don't let Pookie design your website or your logo, because that's not a place that you want to cut your corners. You want to make sure that you invest. And it doesn't cost a lot, especially with Warrior Design. Let me put that plug in there. But it can be affordable, but it's important that you do allow a professional company or individual to design that for you. And sometimes the tendency, even if I'm a sole proprietor, is to try and do everything yourself. In order to be successful as a business owner, you have to assess what I do well and leverage the relationships around you to identify what you don't do well. It's okay. I am a creative person by nature. I'm a visionary. My wife is an administrator. She's an organizer. She's an operations person. So we lean on one another because we have strengths and we have weaknesses. And then those things that we can't do, we have other individuals that surround us that they can do. But when you leverage your relationships or you outsource certain aspects of your business, it allows you to focus on what you do best. When you do that,
right,
you free up your time to be more successful. So that's the importance of outsourcing and allowing someone else that does this to do your branding. Marketing is kind of how you put it out there. You have different channels. You'll have a marketing mix, but they should all work together. You shouldn't just be on all social media just because you can. You have to identify what your demographic group is, what's your target. You got to know what the age group of individuals that are on Facebook versus the individuals that are on Instagram. You have to know which one. You have to know where you're going. You have to know what you're targeting, and then position yourself market-wide to make sure that you're reaching your target market. So a lot of times people, when they're doing their own marketing, they think that I got to get on everything. Well, that's not necessarily true. You have to get on what you are going to have impact. You have to position yourself there. You can't go to every convention. You can't go to every conference. If I'm in music, why would I go to an art conference? I have to position myself and set up booths where I know that people are going to be attracted to what I have to offer. So that's kind of the marketing side versus the branding side. But when you outsource somebody, they can do that thought work for you. They can formulate those plans for you. You don't have to do all that yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and a lot of people don't realize that first impression, those first 10 seconds when someone's looking at, they make an impression. Are you professional? Is this a legitimate? Are they credible? Can I trust them? And a lot of that comes through, you can tell immediately if someone tried to make their logo on on Word document where they just took some clip art and threw a name on top of it. And it's so obvious, and it immediately and I always talk about the meter scale. Your meter scale starts dropping, and and the further they go, that little needle keeps clicking over and over and over until finally they just check out and say, "Oh no, this is not the company for me." And I talk a lot to nonprofits about that because they're always trying to cut corners, and even in some of my first conversations with them and talking about, because one of the questions they always ask me, well, how much money do I need to start up? I said, okay, and I start ticking off. And when I say, well, you need to have someone design your logo, and they go, well, I can do that. I said, no, you need to have someone design your logo.
Right.
And so it's getting them in the mindset that, no, you should. That's not what you do, unless they're a design company like you. But that is one expense up front. Yeah, maybe they can handle the marketing after they have a brand, after they have that look. And I love it. All of this branding and marketing. And here's a shameless plug, but throwing it in. That's why the Philantrepreneur Foundation is launching our professional office services. Because working out of your home is a disadvantage to your professional image. You need a business address. Plus, you have support. You know that there's a office company there, which will be us, to support you in some of the needs. And so I'm really excited to get that launch, which you're working on the brochure for that. That's a plug for you. See, I'm gonna get the plugs in there.
Indeed.
It's exciting to. First of all, I like the creative process, and so I used to play around with things. But then I saw that I like creating things, but I didn't like my outcomes. So that by having someone else, but also people don't realize by just having a second person look at something or a third person, you bring in more perspectives of what appeals to the audience, and and it's always good to have that outside perspective looking into what they see, because you being inside, you just can't separate yourself from it because that's your child, you birthed it, that's your vision. And you need to let someone on the outside, look at it. So, you got me off on my tangent here. But
no, that's a great point. And even in terms of raising children, there's certain things that you perceive about your child, but it's not until your child goes to school, they go out of your presence, and they start getting exposed to teachers, they start getting exposed to coaches, and you have other principals. You have other individuals that can look at it from a different perspective. It's your child. Yes, you raised it, but now you have to release it to other people that have a different perspective. And they're going to allow you to see some things about your child that you may have just been too close or too in love with your child to see. And you said something, I can do it, I can't do it, I can do it. And a lot of times as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, you have to understand there's a lot of things that you can do that you shouldn't necessarily do. You probably shouldn't do because it's just not your strength, and your time can be better utilized in other areas.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you said earlier, what's your expertise? What are you good at? Only focus on that. And, because as an entrepreneur or, even founding a nonprofit, and that's founding a nonprofit, generally most people just come with the vision that has nothing to do with their skill set. And so you have to know how to separate what is the vision and what is your true skill set, because it's different running a nonprofit than, whatever it is. Most people that come in it, they have no business background or things like that. They just come with that vision, that passion. And that's where we come, both of us.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Okay, so
that's right.
We'll support this. We've talked about branding and marketing. I want to get now to what makes excellent branding and marketing solution. What are some of the essential things that entrepreneurs and nonprofits will need for success in the marketplace?
Well, number one, a professionally designed logo. And our process is very simple. When we design logos, we'll send several samples based on their vision. And so here's another part. When you come to a design company, the more information you can give the design company about your company helps us design your logo and brand you properly. Because going back to colors, structure, font, layout, all these things come into perspective as it pertains to how your company is going to position, because that's what your logo does. It creates an immediate image of who your company is in the marketplace. So when you come to a design company, tell us something about your company. Tell us something about what you do, what your goal, what your missions are.
And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that because they have not written a business plan. And if they would just, I'm not knocking. I know I love your passion. I love people that want to do things. But even though you have to strategize and write out a business plan, because that process. And think about it. You're never going to use the business plan after you write it. It's the process of putting all the pieces together, and before you launch, you see what you need to throw out and what you need to keep, what might work and what might, because you've done the research behind it, and you've got the viability and the feasibility of all of your thoughts and ideas, and you also know how much it costs. So
there you go. There you go.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's a good point. Your business plan helps you understand what you're going to do and how you're going to do and what it's going to be. Because a lot of times when it's just in your mind, you don't know. It's just discombobulated. But you put it down, you write it down, you make it plain so that someone else can see. But you'll realize that it also gives you clarity about, okay, this is what we're doing, this is the direction that we're going, and these are the means by which we can get there.
Right, yeah. And, I just happen to be a writer. I write almost anything. In fact, I gave you a document that I had to whittle down because originally, it was like 30-some pages, and I think I handed you 6 pages, and that took a lot of effort. But it really made me analyze, okay, what am I doing? What are we doing the right things? And if the more concisely and precisely you can talk about what your vision is, others will be able to understand it. Because when you keep adding on layers and layers, people get confused, and then they just turn around and say, I don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah. So, I'm doing affirmations for myself and trying to teach our listeners.
That's right. But yeah, so your logo is the cornerstone of everything that you do and everything that you will present. So we always start with the logo because the logo goes on everything. It's like your company's signature. It goes on your website. It goes on your flyers. It goes on your business cards. It goes on everything. So we start there. The second thing I would suggest is make sure that you have a web presence. Even if it's just a one-page site, make sure that people can go to Google, type in your company name, and get information about what you do. So a lot of times when people want to get a website, 7 pages, 12 pages, 20 pages, whatever the case may be, all you need to get started is to make sure you have at least 1 page so that you have a web presence. The mistake that people are making in this age is that they're starting a Facebook and they're starting a Twitter account and they don't have a website.
I preach and crack the whip on that one. No, Facebook is not a web page.
No, No, it's
and
not.
also,
No, it's not.
You create web pages from scratch, and a lot of people go and use the Wixes, what I call the preset templates, and unfortunately, they're not searchable in terms of content on Google Plus.
Right.
All the spiders. I hope people know what I'm talking about. But the search engines.
Yes.
All they see is a picture. They can't read the words, and so even though they're easy to use, it is not benefiting the organization in terms of search engines.
And that's one of the major misconceptions now is people are going with a lot of the template-based things like the Wix, and because it's convenient. But what you're saying is exactly correct. Whenever you launch a website, your website is being crawled by search engines and spiders for content. Based on that content, you'll get Google page rankings, which will allow your company, when searched for certain keywords, to come up in the rankings. Now, if you don't have those keywords in the code of your website, if you don't have those keywords in the content of your website, you can have a great-looking website that moves and animates and does all these things, but it won't come up in your Google page rankings. So people will never find you. They'll never know that you exist. So that's why you have to get away from a lot of those template-based things, do-it-yourself things, because they're neglecting a huge part of what goes into a website to ensure that you are visible on the web.
Yeah. And just one more quick question, because I got to go to commercial break in a second. I've looked at your prices, and literally you are totally affordable. But just tell us why and how you're so affordable, and give us some examples.
Well, I mean, our prices, a lot of we're running a special now for flyers, custom flyers or ads, anything 11 by 17 and under.
I pushed it out there.
For example, that's only $50 for this week, so, but our normal price is only $75. I mean, you can get a business card design for $25 per side. I mean, so everything is very affordable. We have branding packages that start at just $150 to just get you started, and you can always come back to us and build and add on later. So we try to make it affordable because my wife and I, we have a heart to help people and to see people succeed and to see people look good. But you just got to invest a little bit. Be willing to invest in yourself before you ask somebody else to. So that's one of the areas that you can't cut a corner. Your look, your brand is everything.
Yep. Okay, great information. Then we're going to come back after our commercial break, talk more with Chris, because he has, some exciting things going on too, and how his company has an impact in the community. So we'll be back in just a moment.
The Philantrepreneur Foundation. Build your capacity with our educational programs and professional services. Learn how to be a philantrepreneur, maximize your social impact, and maximize your revenue. Visit thephilantrepreneur.com or philantrepreneurfoundation.org to find services, resources, and training to launch, enhance, or improve your business or nonprofit strategy. While there, sign up to receive the Philantrepreneur Journal digital publication. Today's Philantrepreneur Show tip.
Okay, each show, we bring a Philantrepreneur Show tip. And most of you know I was a teacher for many, many years. I had lots of experience speaking before groups, and frankly, I sort of thought I knew what I was doing. But about 4 years ago, I learned my speeches weren't having the impact that I really wanted them. How did I find out? I actually attended a speaking workshop. I got there just by accident, and my whole perspective changed. Are you trying to move people to action, whether talking one-on-one, representing your business or your organization, or making a formal, what is called main stage presentation? You should know the most effective way to make what you say memorable. So I'm offering you to join us January 28th through 30th in L.A. for High Impact Speaking Live. Steve Lowell. He's a great friend of mine. He's a master trainer, and he's worked with people all over the world, and he's also a great supporter of the Philantrepreneur Foundation. And he's offering, just for our followers, a phenomenal deal. Off of this workshop, he's giving us, just us, don't tell anybody, just us, a $50 discount off any level of registration. That's early bird, which closes January 15th, or regular or VIP, plus you can bring a guest for free. And, I said I love Steve. He is donating a portion of registrations to the Philantrepreneur Foundation. I was sort of floored when he offered all of this support, and it's such a needed skill set, so I'm out here promoting it. It's coming in just a few weeks, so get registered today. The easiest way to find it so that you actually are supporting us is to go to the Philantrepreneur calendar and click on this radio show, January 6th radio button, and you'll find the high impact speaking link to all of the information. I'll be there, and I hope to see you there too.
The Philantrepreneur Journal, a quarterly digital publication reaching over 600,000 entrepreneurs and nonprofits. Get targeted exposure to reach your ideal customer with our unique Ads for a Cause, where 50% of the fee goes to support our nonprofit training and services programs. Together, we can make a difference, create impact, and build capacity. Visit thephilantrepreneur.com, Marketing Ads tab for all the details. Mention this show and get a 10% discount.
Okay, we are back and going to continue our conversation with Christopher Scott. He's president and CEO of Warrior Design Company. I want to crown you today that you are a philantrepreneur.
Thank you. I received that.
Yes, you have joined the ranks of being a philantrepreneur, because when I met with you and your beautiful wife earlier this week, we were talking about formation of your foundation. But even before that, I had gone on your website and I saw what was called the CKC Focus. So why don't you tell us a little bit how Warrior Design has a CKC Focus?
Our CKC Focus is focused on cancer, kids, and community. And those are three areas that are very near and dear to my wife and I. And so we always, since our inception, we have always given back and helped in those areas and sponsored events in those areas. We feel like those are three areas that we're kind of called and purposed to kind of help and educate. And so what we do is we seek out events and we seek out opportunities for individuals that are forging forward to make an impact in those areas, and we come alongside of them and we help them. We help them with their marketing, we help them with their look and their branding. We support them, we give away things, but that's a part of what we do in terms of giving back to our world and to make the world a little better in any way that we can.
Absolutely. It's called Impact Investing. And what you're doing is you're using meaningful marketing. These are all the platforms of being a philantrepreneur.
Yes.
I was initially, I thought I was just coming to meet to talk about design and graphics design and what you do. But I was so excited to hear that you really were forging ahead and wanted to create a foundation, an actual foundation, which is a great strategy because it not only builds your credibility, but it just makes your company resonate with the community. So, do you think having over the years the CKC focus, has it helped your the Warrior Design Company's bottom line? Have you seen some traction because you do that?
Oh, absolutely. In all the cool and funky marketing terms that we come up with, at the end of the day, word of mouth is still the most powerful form of marketing and sales. So what it does, it creates a visibility for your business in the community. And the community, whether you realize it, acknowledge it or not, the community is made up of your potential consumers. So when you position yourself to be present in the community when they're hurting and when they're experiencing difficult times, it just gives you greater visibility. I don't think that should be the motivation for doing it, but it's certainly a benefit of doing it.
Well, it's a side benefit. You always should be led by your passion, where you feel your purpose in life, but understanding that will be your barometer, your roadmap.
Sure.
Don't overlook or just ignore that it can have benefits to your business on the profit side. I look at it as a three-legged stool that you can have profits, purpose, and passion that all work together. And I ascribe to that 3P philosophy of, let your passion shine, which leads to your purpose, and you will have better profits because you've combined them all. That's just the society that we're in. They want to see that community is important to you. You can't be selfish in this day and age because we are in what is called the we cycle of community, and so we have to show that we care about community, and in turn, the community will care about you.
That's right.
It works. It really works together. And I'm so happy to hear that. A lot of entrepreneurs, or even on their website, they wouldn't have a whole page devoted to you. And like I said, and we talked about, your website is important. And whenever I'm exploring and meeting new people, the first thing I do is go to their webpage, and I look through to see. And just seeing that page, you even described and had a definition of philanthropy. I was like, yes! They got it going on. It was so great.
Yes.
So you're going to embark on this. I'm happy, that we're going to be working together to launch your organization. Have you come up with your name yet? Left you think.
Yes, we have come up with our name. I'm not going to unveil it yet, but we have come up with our name.
Very good. Okay. I see goals being met. I won't push you on that, because I sent you home with some homework.
That's right.
Yep. The teacher and me, you had to go home with homework, and that's great.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just excited to be helping you get on this new journey that will, bring something to your own heart, and this is going to be exciting. So getting back just a little bit back to the whole branding and marketing, because that is your business. As a takeaway, we're getting ready to wrap up the show here. What would you say is one of the most important things to remember about marketing and value to entrepreneurs or nonprofits?
Well, I'll go back to that marketing, branding is a piece of the puzzle. Marketing will get them in the door, but quality products and services is what's going to keep them there. So I cannot tell you over the last 12 years how many opportunities we've had to create great work for horrible services and horrible products. So you have to be careful that you don't create an image of something that once they get in your door is very different than what they're going to experience as a consumer, because they will be disappointed. So it's important that you have to deliver, and that's something that as a marketing branding company we cannot do for you. So it's important that you focus on the quality of the service and the product that you offer, and then you utilize marketing as a vehicle to just cultivate an environment where people know about you and where you can be successful. That's all it does. That's important, but it's not everything. Make sure you have a quality service and product.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you stressed that. I mean, you can be the prettiest thing out there, but if you suck, and I'm being blunt, if you suck, you're always going to suck. And even that brand, actually, that logo will start looking ugly because people, the word of mouth is powerful, whether it's positive or negative, and people will find out quickly whether or not you're not delivering on what you promise. And that's where basically, you recognize it. So when you recognize that they need support in creating their infrastructure, then you're going to send them to me because that's what
That's
I
right.
do. I
That's
assess
right.
whether or not
That's right.
you have gaps within your systems and what you're producing is quality. So we just gave each other a plug there again.
There you go.
I mean, hey, we're here. Stand by me. Okay, no, I won't.
That's right.
Okay. Okay, this has been great. I want to thank C. Christopher Scott, President and CEO of Warrior Design Company, for being on the show today. It was so much fun, and I know our listeners will want to contact you because I've already have a checklist in my head of things that need to be done, but they need to contact you for your design services and just other development needs that they have, because you have a whole myriad of products and services, and your portfolio is fantastic. So tell the listeners how they can find you, contact you, and get the information they need.
You can visit us at warriordesign.net. You can email us at customerservice@warriordesign.net, or you can call us at 877-795-5511. And we will take care of all your marketing needs. I had a country thought. I'm from North Carolina, so I'm going to leave you with this.
Go ahead.
Good marketing without a good product is like a beautiful woman with bad breath. It just doesn't work. It's not going to work for you.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely. So everyone, reach out. Also, if you want that website, it is on the show's information sheet. Once again, to find this particular show, just either go to the Philantrepreneur Foundation calendar and click on January 6th, or blogtalkradio.com/Philantrepreneur. Or, as everyone knows, in a few days, it will be up on YouTube on the Philantrepreneur channel, and you will find Warrior Design, and that's without an S, .net. Contact Chris. He's a great guy. They do great work, and I'm just so happy we had the opportunity to meet. Thank you so much for joining us today. Those were some really great tips. And I guess in mentioning tips, I've come across some great projects and people lately. Have you? We're always looking for valuable content for today's entrepreneurs and nonprofits. Please visit our website and send us an inquiry on being a guest. We'd love to hear from you. Did you know that you can listen to all of our shows? There's over 60 of them on our YouTube channel. Yes, visit the Philantrepreneur channel to access our full archive of past shows. And do you want to have impact? Help us continue to provide quality education programs to build capacity and have impact in the community. Your support is needed. Please support one of our campaigns. Visit the Philantrepreneur Foundation.org or find us on Generosity, or join our sharing community in collective economics as we work together. Join us for our next show, where we will greet another great guest with tips and insight for your success. In the meantime, we ask, are you a philantrepreneur?
Thank you for tuning in to the Philantrepreneur Radio Show, hosted by Dr. Victoria Boyd. Get involved. Follow us on Facebook and other social media outlets. If you wish to share comments or suggestions or appear as a guest on our show, visit www.thephilantrepreneur.com. Contact Victoria Boyd. Email her at theboyd@thephilantrepreneur.com. The Philantrepreneur Radio Show is a production of and sponsored by the Philantrepreneur Foundation, a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.